Today is November 18th. Today's quote is entitled Cooperative Behavior. Both King Indra and Maharaja Prithu were envious and angry with each other. But since both of them were Vaisnavas, or servants of Lord Vishnu, it was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy. This is also a first-class example of cooperative behavior between Vaisnavas. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 20, Text 18. So what's the key in this verse? Prabhupada's saying, Indra and Prithu, Maharaj, there was some problem between them. And it's interesting because these are very exalted devotees, and we see, as in Govardhan Lila, Indra became very angry and lost his intelligence. And there's other times Indra had become angry when Krishna wanted to take the Parijata flower. And so sometimes he becomes overcome by these very human qualities. So here's an example in Bhagavatam where Indra had come and stolen a horse for sacrifice because he was afraid that Prithu Maharaj would become more powerful than he. So that wasn't really kosher, it wasn't the right thing to do, so naturally Prithu Maharaj was upset, and you're destroying my sacrifice. We put so much energy into this, and you just imagine at your initiation someone comes and just steals everything or pushes it over. You would be upset. Even you're a great Vaishnava, you'd probably become angry, at least for a little while. So naturally there was enmity between them. But then here in the verse says, but because they were Vaishnavas, they settled it. So that, I think that's very, very important. Okay, we're human, but we're Vaishnavas. So our human side sometimes takes over. Then when we collect ourselves, when we come to a proper intelligence or consciousness, then we should move forward and rectify the mistake. Now, sometimes we see that some devotees just perpetually don't get along, they don't like one another, and I understand how that can happen and I understand why. But based on this verse, and we can understand also this is what Prabhupada wants us to do. He wants us to somehow rectify it so we don't carry on our whole life with enmity towards another person. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said a Vaishnava doesn't hate anybody. What to speak of hating another Vaishnava? So we may not love all the Vaishnavas, that's understandable. We have different natures. We'll be closer with some devotees than others. But hating them, having extreme discord with another Vaishnava, it may be that that Vaishnava has done something to upset you. But still, the fact that you hold on to the upset, you should reflect on yourself and say, there must be something wrong with me. Okay, what another person does is what another person does. But the fact that I hold on to it, it's not good. So I like this verse because at least it's giving us some kind of standard of how we should behave. And so Prabhupada's expecting that we would reconcile our differences. And then the last thing he says, this is also a first-class example of cooperation between Vaishnavas. In other words, how we should act amongst ourselves, even though we're not Prithu Maharaj or we're not Indra. Still, what did Prabhupada say? He said, all my work's going to be stopped. He used the word stopped up, like clogged up. He says, all my work's going to be clogged up if you can't work together. So working together is difficult, it's an austerity, but it's a service to Srila Prabhupada. It's something that we really need to learn how to do better. And when we have these dealings with devotees that aren't so pleasant, and there's a lot of friction, let us look at ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I responding this way? What is it about me that this person is bringing out? Rather than blame him for how I feel, accept that my feelings are my feelings and I'm in control of my feelings. And although this person may be the catalyst for those feelings, still those feelings are mine. And I can take responsibility for reacting in a better way. As it's said, maybe you've heard this, what happens is only really 10%, your reaction is 90%. So, okay, something bad may happen. It doesn't mean you have to react in a bad way. So, it's a challenge, no doubt. Let's take it as a challenge in a positive way. Krishna's showing me, if I don't get along with somebody, that something's going on within me that I need to work on, I need to improve. At least to have some kind of amiable, neutral relationship at least, so there's no negativity, and accept this is how this Vaishnava is. He's sincere, he's trying, maybe not my cup of tea per se, I wouldn't do it that way, I wouldn't treat people that way, but still, it's my issue if I can't be favorably disposed to a Vaishnava. Now, it's so important. Then in Padma Purana it says it's an offense to see another devotee and not be happy. Sometimes you might see a devotee and think, oh, here comes trouble, that devotee's trouble. He believes in this philosophy, or he's this or that. But we want to try to get beyond that and to appreciate all Vaishnavas. That's very important. It's not that we're going to work closely with everyone, or we're not necessarily supporting someone who's saying something that you strongly believe is against Srila Prabhupada, but it doesn't mean you have to dislike that person. You shouldn't allow that to happen. That's not what Krishna consciousness is all about.